On this episode of the podcast, we discuss Microsoft's big announcements from Mexico City. Nice job, me. I screwed that one up. We talk about potential next-gen rumors with Sony's PlayStation 5. We discuss the Game Awards announcements. And, of course,
you need a redo. Go ahead. We can redo it. We can edit this out. We can edit this out for the when we come back. All right. Let's pretend. Let's start over. 3, 2, 1.
On this episode of the NerdBacon podcast, we discuss Microsoft's announcements from Mexico City. We discuss the Game Awards nominees for various categories. We salute a fallen icon in the world of geekdom. All that and more on this week's episode of the NerdBacon podcast, brought to you by NerdBacon.com, the tastiest place on the internet to get your video gaming news. I am Captain America.
I don't know about that. I think you're Captain Afghanistan or something. Azerbaijan. After that intro. I'm sorry. I'm Dave the Watchman.
And I'm Level Up Justin.
I'm Jefferoth. My secret identity's been exposed. Hang on.
My goodness. Wow, that was a heck of an intro. Amazing.
Yeah, the second time around, yeah.
You got it.
Fellas, it's been some time. How you guys doing? The three of us are back on the podcast for the first time in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I was out getting engaged over in old Disney World there, and then Justin. Oh, you had internet problems last week, didn't you? That's right.
Well, no, Justin was still drunk from the Red Sox victory. Dave was off celebrating it. You guys were off like having good times, and here I am holding the fort down. You know, myself and Brad holding the fort down.
Somebody's got to work. I'm
Brad, the loyal one.
Yeah. Speaking of Brad, he'll be back on next week.
That's right, because he has some news in the world of auctions, and he'll talk some Stanley as well, as we will later on in this very show. Something disturbed me today as I was perusing through Facebook, as I really shouldn't have been perusing through Facebook.
I was gonna say that is ripe avenue for disturbing right there.
Well, I saw this ad for Uno. They because I love Uno is like the best card game. Fight me, but now they have this thing called Duo.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's just like a new thing. Exactly. It's like you're ruining Uno for me.
It's a completely different game, but made by the same people that made Uno.
Just if you have the perfect game, you don't have to make any other games.
Twice the game of Uno.
We tried it. It's not bad. It's just it doesn't have the same like appeal that Uno has. It's a little more complicated. So
you know what you should do is write a strongly worded letter to the manufacturers.
I'll light a letter. That's fine.
Yeah.
Also, I saw that a Monopoly for millennials is a thing now.
What?
Yes.
God, no. Yep. Why do millennials have to ruin everything? They ruined Star Wars, now they're ruining Monopoly. They're trying to ruin video games.
Well, the tokens are like cell phones and hashtags and stuff that are token pieces. Right. And you don't pay in money. You pay in experiences.
Oh, Christ on a stick.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, because they said you probably can't afford this anyway. So, because it's taking a jab at millennials.
Everybody's got student loans.
And the asking price is $19. The asking price is $19.82.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate the world.
The good thing in the world, though,
Doc Croc says we don't talk enough about Star Wars.
Celebrating the good stuff of the year. The Game Awards came out today.
Yeah.
As far as the nominations for the different categories.
Now let's be clear. This is the big Game Awards. This is the Jeff Keighley awesome Game Awards with all the big announcements and everything. This is not the NerdBacon Game Awards, which is a completely different animal altogether.
And very close to it. I mean, we're right there.
It's nipping at the heels.
I mean, did you see the musical act last year? I mean, come on.
Oh, Doc McGraw is coming back this year.
It was better than the lip syncing girl from Mario Odyssey.
It's good. Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a 30-minute Doc McGraw show this year, and I think there's gonna be a poetry reading as well.
If I were to go through every one of these, we'll be here forever.
Yeah, let's not do that.
So I'm trying to go like the big stuff.
Well, here's while you're reading through that, here's some of the stuff that surprised me. Game of the Year nominations, pretty much what we expected, except for Celeste. Celeste is like this big indie surprise of the year in the Game of the Year award nominations.
Yeah.
What is Celeste? Tell me about Celeste. Who's heard of Celeste? Who's played Celeste?
I've heard of it. Have not
Who's
played.
dated Celeste?
Same. I've heard of Celeste. I don't know anything about Celeste, but supposedly, I know some of the other podcasts I listen to speak really highly of Celeste, but I've never really gotten too much into it. I really don't know anything enough about it to really explain.
Justin, you're becoming a T1000.
Yeah,
figure it out.
For once, it's not on my end.
Yeah.
Justin's becoming a T1000. So yeah, the Game of the Year nominees are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. All of them, again, because I didn't play Celeste. I've heard of Celeste. I think my snub of that, I kind of think that Dead Cells should have at least got some nods on that, because Dead Cells is a great game.
Well, boys, it sounds like we're going to have to invest in a copy of Celeste so we can check this thing out.
It's true. I guess kind of the other big stuff, best ongoing game. We have Destiny 2, we have Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm a big music guy, so I was really happy to see Octopath Traveler got nominated for Best Musical Score of the Year. And if that doesn't win, then I don't know. I would say I'm going to have to burn something down, but I got nothing to burn down but my own house, and that would just be self-defeating. So I will burn an angry bonfire.
Since Dave, you and I have theatrical backgrounds, best performance, Brian Deschart as Connor from Detroit Become Human, Christopher Judge as Kratos from God of War, Melisanthe Mahut as Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2, and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in Spider-Man.
Man, those are some strong performances. Chris Judge as Kratos in God of War, he's like so spot on.
Right.
I have not played Detroit yet, but that's one of the games that I really want to pick up for Black Friday because it's going to be on sale. I think it's on sale right now or this weekend at GameStop for $20.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
So
Arthur Morgan, like Roger Clark's portrayal of Arthur Morgan, he made me like when I was playing as
John Marston.
Thank you, from the first game. I feel like I wanted to be that noble hero because he just seemed like he was the nice guy, which is fine. Arthur Morgan, with Roger Clark's doing of this, makes me want to not only just be a stand-up dude, but also I want to be the gangster when I want to be the gangster. Like, he has a bit of him that has no remorse, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, it helps me kind of go both ways on how I play this character.
That is going to be a really tough category to judge, especially I think you got to hand it some credits to Yuri Lowenthal as well for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think his performance is great. It's really funny to me to think of him as Peter Parker because he was also the role of one of the dudes in Final Fantasy 15, and I can't think of his name now. It was the blonde, spiky hair dude.
And I want to say, wasn't he at one point the prince in the Prince of Persia series?
He might have been. Oh my God, who was that dude?
Let's see if I can IMDb.
Yeah, IMDb that, would you?
Hey, Lauren. Hang on.
That's his IMDb.
Yeah, he was the prince in the Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones.
Thank you.
You are correct.
What was he in FF15?
He was
Prompto. That's it. Thank you, Lauren.
Oh, you're talking about Spidey-Man?
Yeah.
They're the same.
I know they're the same person. He got nominated for best performance in the Game Awards.
Good.
For Spider-Man.
I heard that Octopath is nominated for best score if they don't win.
I know, right? Here's speaking as a music snob, though. So last year, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out a little bit too late for the nominations.
Right.
My God, what a beautiful soundtrack that game has.
Yep.
And that's the problem with releasing in December. You kind of hit this gray zone where you're too late for the current year nominations, but then you're like so early you get forgotten about for next year's nominations. How does that game not get nominated for Best Musical Score is beyond me.
This year, right.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's how I think I'm going to feel that way about now. It's got like a million tracks in it, but you think about Smash Brothers coming up.
Sure.
Some of the music in that game is insane, and some of the
some of it's original too.
Yeah, and a lot of it's original and or redone but I guarantee next year we won't. You won't see that nominated.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would nominate it because it is mostly just going to be remixes of classic songs. So I'm more for giving the nod to something that's new. What really kind of surprised me was their expanse of esports stuff.
Yeah,
they have a lot more esports categories, including like best esports event. So Evo got nominated. Like esports athlete of the year is a thing. So
esports moment, esports coach,
Sonic
esports,
Fox
everything.
And Taquito are both nominated on the
esports host.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. If Sonic Fox doesn't win though, come on. How do you not give it to Sonic Fox? That dude can play any fighting game and be good at it.
Sure.
Like he's like the Mozart of fighting games at this point.
Going off of fighting games, the best fighting game nominees: Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighter, Soul Calibur 6, and Street Fighter V Arcade.
Well, I know Stealth is going to be a little bit sad about that. There's no automatic Smash nomination.
Right.
Next year.
Best Smash character. Yeah, you can see the full list. I had the full list here on Polygon, but they're everywhere if you want to see the full list of nominations for every category out there. There's a ton of them. But obviously, besides the awards, we look forward to the big announcements because it's becoming kind of like E3 at the end of the year.
It is.
As far as big game announcements and some big time announcements too.
It's a little early Christmas, and I think we'll get on to our Game Awards prediction. And by the way, for those of you who are joining us in across Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, and Smashcast, you can join in and watch the Game Awards with us live on December 6th. We'll be simulcasting it right here on NerdBacon. So hang out. You can watch it on the Game Awards channel if you want, which is fine. You should watch the Game Awards because Jeff Keighley works so hard and puts his own time and money into making something special for gaming, and I can't give the dude enough credit. He's just fantastic.
Yes.
But if you want to hang out and watch it with some people and have some reactions along with us, that would be cool too. So let's all watch it together. We'll hold hands. We'll have a beer together
as we drink beverages and enjoy being gamers together and celebrate the year that was 2018.
Yeah, just mark your calendars for December 6th, and we'll hang out.
Yep.
So let's talk about controversy is already starting to sprout like fungus underneath the log. Of course, I'm talking about the lovely meadows that is Reset Era. Did I tell you I renamed my trash can Reset Era?
Yeah.
They both serve the same purpose.
And sometimes just out of nowhere, you set on fire.
They both stink. They both hold my garbage. I try to get rid of it at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of different things. First one that I saw that was just like Hodge A was this lovely thread where the Game Awards jury vote in the best. Well, the game. I'm sorry. There's like a thing here. I'm gonna get this. Okay. Will the Game Awards jury vote in the best direction category for a studio that did not crunch? Of course, referring to the crunch time controversy. Like this is something new.
Right.
Sorry, but for the past, ever since video games were
that's been around.
There's been crunch time. So this is the thread dedicated to will the jury members use their voice to decry the practice of crunch and vote for a game that supposedly did not make use of crunch. Bull crap. Every game crunches.
Right.
Doesn't matter if they say, "Oh no, we didn't crunch." They still crunched. That's just the nature of the beast. So anyway, they're trying to push this social thing.
It's varying levels of crunch.
To me, again, it ticks me off, and we covered this a couple of shows ago talking about the whole Red Dead Redemption 2 controversy where, you know, they were talking about how they were putting in 100-hour work weeks to get Red Dead out the door. I don't see why would you want to punish the people who actually did sacrifice and put in all that time and effort and energy to make an entertainment product. Why would you want to punish those people? That's basically saying, oh, you worked multiple 100-hour weeks? Well, here's a big loogie in your face, you know? It's like, it makes me angry because I've seen the effort that it takes to make a video game just on a very limited scale. It takes an incredible amount of effort. You're always going to be crunching to meet a deadline no matter what. Doc Croc asks if the people on Reset Era even play games. I don't know. I don't think they... It drives me nuts that on Reset Era, all of a sudden Final Fantasy VIII is regarded as some sort of classic.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the soundtrack can be.
The soundtrack there are some great tracks in the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack.
Right.
It's notable because it's the first time that Square actually got a chance to use a live orchestra for some of the music in that game. But the plot of Final Fantasy VIII is terrible. They're talking about the main protagonist, Squall Lionheart, as being a great protagonist. He's not. He's an insufferable prick. Somebody was trying to put Ultimecia, who is the main villain, as one of the great antagonists of all time, when she's introduced in the end of the third disc, maybe the beginning of the fourth disc. So she doesn't have time to shine. They try to build her up as like some feminist anti-hero, and it's just stupid. Anyway,
Final Fantasy and antagonist is only one.
Yeah, Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Can argue for Kefka for some of his classic dudes.
Kefka,
But you also have to think, like, there's a reason that 8 is being left out on so many of these, like, all these Final Fantasy games are coming to Switch.
Because it's sucked.
All these Final Fantasy games are coming to, Xbox backwards compatibility.
I am a huge Final Fantasy fan. I have my day one Final Fantasy VIII copy from 1999, and it was a sucky game. The first disc was brilliant. It was shaping up to be one of the greatest games of all time. It was brilliantly paced. The characters were engaging. The plot was amazing. And then all of a sudden, at the end of that disc was a cliffhanger, and then you get to disc 2, and they get to this place, and I'll spoil a 20-year-old plot point. They're like, oh, wow, we all grew up in this orphanage, and we all have amnesia. And, oh, we actually grew up with who was being built as the main bad guy, Adia, this witch. Oh, we actually grew up with her. Yeah. They flushed the toilet on that. Anyway, I digress. Doc Croc says the website is just cancerous. Yes, it is.
It's like the internet's version of Jerry Springer, right?
I wouldn't even say that. It's like...
Because Jerry Springer is actually good.
Yeah, Jerry Springer is actually good. It's just like a bunch of woke people, a bunch of self-absorbed morons, really. All right, so that's one thread. That's one thread. The other one that I saw, let's see. Oh, here we go. This thread was entitled, Jeff, we need to have a serious talk about the Content Creator Award. So this thread was all pissy because Ninja from Fortnite fame was nominated for the Content Creator of the Year category. Ninja's gonna win hands down, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Most likely.
Who else has done more to push not only streaming but just the whole spectrum of video games than Ninja throughout the year? Oh. Dude's on the cover of ESPN magazine. Come on.
Oh no, yeah, right.
But the Woken Warriors are upset because he doesn't stream with women. Now, this isn't out of any sexism on his part.
Right.
He is a married man, and he doesn't want the trolls, if he streams with girls, he doesn't want trolls trying to push rumors and stuff out that, oh, well, he's seeing so-and-so, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that kind of sucks
Yeah.
if you were a lady and want to stream with Ninja, but I can see from his perspective wanting to respect his marriage and keep he's a public figure. He wants to keep the internet out of his marriage. And I respect that. But to say that he's some sort of misogynist or sexist because of that is freaking ridiculous.
Right.
And it's by a bunch of people who, have never actually been in a relationship or.
And look, it's his choice. It's his brand, his channel. He can play with who he doesn't want to play with. Like, that's his call.
Yeah. You got to understand, we live in a day and age where not everybody is honorable. And there might be an instance where somebody tries to cop a few cents of fame off of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want any of that. So
Right.
I find it's ridiculous that they're raising this as a piece of controversy.
Everyone that I've seen that has met him in real life said he could not be any nicer. Like, he goes out of his way to shake hands and meet people and take photos. Like, if everyone who's ever met him that I've seen, either on their Snapchats, Instagrams, or whatever, have nothing but glowing things to say about the man.
But he doesn't strike the right reset era notes. So therefore, he is evil according to the high priests of morality at reset era.
Yeah, but Ninja's
well, that's not to say that. That's not to say that these other content creators aren't, doing great things. I mean, granted, I've only heard of one of the other ones myself. That doesn't mean anything because I'm not. Yeah. Again, like you said, who are we in the grand scheme of things? But like you said, Ninja was on the cover of ESPN magazine. I mean, the guy single-handedly almost took Twitch down because of the stream that he did with, Juju Smith-Schuster and whoever else it was, Drake and whoever else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that he's nominated.
He's been doing big things. He deserves to be nominated.
He did a stream recently playing some Fallout 76 with the rapper Logic and Rick and Morty. It was not a good stream because they didn't have good chemistry, and so Ninja's there trying to play the game. Logic is there just because he has to be there, and Rick and Morty are there to tie in to a major thing. But even then, they're putting Ninja's face with their games and these creations like Rick and Morty, and he's pushing this thing forward, like it or not. I mean,
sure.
He is, like I said, doing more for the streaming game and making games more of a mainstream thing. That's not necessarily esports. Like, he's going just having a good time with these big time games. He's not like an esports superstar. He's just a gaming superstar at this point.
Yeah. I think the thread also goes on to point to a nomination and win a couple of years ago from Boogie, of Boogie fame. And I forget the number that's attached to him. But
Boogie fame.
Yeah, but Boogie tries to approach social issues from a centrist point of view and doesn't take the political tone that Reset Era wants him to take. So therefore, he's a terrible person, according to them, which is, again, ridiculous. Seems like a great guy. If you read his posts, he doesn't seem to be preaching hate or anything like that, but he doesn't fall in line with what they want. So it's just very odd, and I don't know. It's something that I'm seeing a lot of out of Reset Era these days.
And you keep going back.
Well, it's
like a bad car wreck. You can't look away.
Here's the thing. I am the watchman, and the watchman is constantly on the wall gathering all the information that he can.
He's always
that's my
watching.
job. That's what I do. Always.
He's like the receptionist from Monsters Inc.
These eyes of Sauron. Rest in peace, Boogie.
Always watching.
Speaking, you mentioned Monster. They put out the first image on set for the Monster Hunter movie.
Oh, did they?
Yes,
they did.
It was just basically a tank and two actors, but it was in the desert, and it's like, okay, they're going for the Monster Hunter movie. This could be great.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's really
good. A Mario movie, which is great.
Yep.
The animated Mario Brothers movie.
I keep my fingers crossed that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
They say Miyamoto is really involved with that movie. I gotta wonder though. That movie's out in what, 2020?
Yes.
So how much longer? The dude's like 65 now. How much longer does he really have until he says, "All right, bags are packed"? What's the last Miyamoto project? Is it going to be the movie?
That would make a lot of sense, but I don't. No, I don't think so.
I think it's too soon.
I mean, we're getting close to 70. He's got to be thinking of, you know what? I just want to relax the last, 10 to 15 years that I have left on this earth. He's done enough. I don't want him to retire.
He's relaxing. I think he can just throw ideas by the higher ups, and they'll make the work happen. He can just sit back in whatever comfy chair he's in and have the fanciest of ramens and just
the fanciest.
There's a ramen place right down the street from me. I have never had ramen in my life. I would love to try it sometime.
Wait, you've never had ramen in your life?
Never. Not even and I was even a broke college student. But I mean like proper ramen.
What's the ramen place down the street?
Hana?
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
Jeff, that's the mission. We're going to get you out for some ramen.
I know, man.
Even the new Wasabi Chi just down the street from us has, they specialize in ramen over there.
All right.
You haven't been to Crunkwich, though.
Correct. I've not been to, it's a good word. Crunkwich.
Crunkwich.
It's like a Little John sandwich.
I can't believe that.
Takes a bite and he's like, yeah!
Crunkwich. Crunkwich is so good.
Is that a Harry Potter thing?
It's not. I mean, you can get it's a ramen house. It's all ramen, but you can get this wonderful like Korean ramen that's like bulgogi meat and kimchi in there and stuff. It's like hot and sour. It's so friggin' good.
All right, NerdBacon ramen reviews coming forward from NerdBacon.
We should do a live stream of Jeff's first ramen.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that. Facebook Live, Jeff's first ramen.
There we go.
All right, we're making
one thing I wanted to kind of do before we go away from the Game Awards. One thing I was going to kind of mention really quick, the Game Awards, one of the moments, esports moment, the best esports moment nominee, Sonic Fox side switch against X018 and Dragon Ball Z from EVO.
We were there.
Yeah. You guys remember that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember making a lot of noise.
Dragon Ball Z was dragging on so long, I think I tuned out.
Oh, man.
No, just the uproar after that happened.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Again, people like on Reset Era, for example, trying to create a big uproar because he switched sides.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay, now I remember. Yeah. He was sitting on one side. And
he was getting his butt whooped pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's like, no, I got to switch sides. Oh.
Which took forever because they had to translate to Go One. They had to translate to him what was going on.
What would you do if if you were winning and Sonic Fox says, hey, let me switch sides? Because the side is determined by who's coming in on winner's side and who's coming in on loser's side.
Right.
So the winner's side gets player 1 and the loser's side gets player 2.
I think it depends on the rule book, I think, too. Like, if they allow it, I guess, do you have much of a choice?
I think you can refuse. I don't know. I think I would refuse.
Well, that's what I was saying. I would refuse if I could, but I don't know if I could. I didn't know what the exact ruling would be.
I think if the opponent agrees to it, then it's allowed. But I don't know. Like, I know if I was actually in this situation, Mouthy Dave says, no, I'd refuse from a practical brain standpoint. But, Dave, who tries to placate and make everybody happy, would be like, oh, but, sure, Sonic Fox, you can do that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, here's Sonic Fox.
Who am I kidding?
Sonic Fox has been here, done this. He's a legend in the esports, in the fighting game world. Says, hey, can you you're already up. You've got the momentum. You got to figure, what can, it's just the other side of the screen. So what?
No, here's what it was. He was Sonic farting that chair.
There you go. It's going to guess him.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes, move on. Other announcements. Dave was live streaming this from this very channel from Mexico City.
That's right.
Mexico City.
Microsoft's big X018 had a bunch of announcements from Mexico City. Before we get into the minutia of it, if you will.
Okay.
It's a good word. I like to use that, minutia.
I hate it when I get minutia on my shoe.
Twitch TOS. Anyway, the overall feeling I got when it was done was people were saying, meh.
Yeah, I made sure to temper my expectations. Like right before the show began, I had to sit myself down and say, hey, Watchmen, now, as much as you want, Killer Instinct's not happening today. They're not going to announce Conquer. There's no Banjo-Kazooie. Let's just be realistic about this and not get on the hype train and just enjoy it for what it was. And you know what? I did. I enjoyed it. There were no bombshells.
Right.
There was like one brand new game announcement, and that was it. The rest of it was like updates on stuff like Crackdown 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
I've got the bullet points here, but
okay.
So first of all, they kind of said that, hey, PUBG is coming on Xbox Game Pass next week. So if you have Game Pass, it's now free to play if you have Game Pass.
Well, here, before we do the bullet points, here's what stood out to me from sitting there and watching it. The PUBG on Games Pass was a big deal. Crackdown 3, I'm starting to become a believer.
See?
The multiplayer looked really good. The destructible environments look really good. Yeah. I think that game has a lot more potential than I gave it credit for, and I'm like, the hype is at a 6.5 to 7 right now.
Closer we get, the higher that might get on you.
Yeah, it's
Crackdown's fun.
It definitely looks really a lot better than it did going E3 and so forth.
And
it looks a lot better.
You can go to the Microsoft Store. I believe you can still go to the Microsoft Store and download Crackdown 1 for free right now.
Yes.
Yep. It became free like just before X018, and then they've officially announced it at the event.
Right.
And so if you haven't played it,
Crackdown 1 is fantastic. 2 is still pretty good, but 1 is fantastic.
Crackdown 3 looked really good. They showed off a new mode coming to Sea of Thieves, which is like an arena mode. So it's like you and your crew against a bunch of other crews in a race against time to get the most treasure. To me, I forget the name of that mode. I'm sure it's in the bullet points there, but that was like, okay, this is like the kick in the pants that this game needs, because Sea of Thieves was pretty boring in all the betas, and you hate to say it, the beta turned me off to that game.
Right.
I was on board. I was ready to go sailing.
You both said you weren't into the beta when you played it.
Oh, man. So hopefully this is like the jump start that game needs, and I want to keep seeing Rare put more content. I think this is one of those games that's going to evolve greatly, between release this past summer and then, if you look at it a year or 2 years from now, it's going to be a completely different animal and probably like heck of a lot better.
That would be Sea of Thieves, the arena. So the arena is what they announced.
We're calling it Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. That's the best.
Battle Royale.
Those were kind of the big announcements. They announced 16 games for Game Pass. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice coming to Games Pass, which is awesome.
That's awesome, actually.
Both Ori games, so Blind Forest, and then when it launches next year, Will-o'-the-Wisp will be day one on Game Pass.
Which I'm glad that they did announce. They did come out and just finally say it, which is because we knew they had said before like any of first party games will be out, but I think there was a slight bit of doubt because obviously that's a lot of money that that they're putting out there for first party games just to be out there. Look at, for example, like Sony doesn't do that, of course, and their games sell well. So if Ori was to sell well and not put it out, I'm not saying they're losing out on a ton, but that's awesome for the consumer.
Right. And then they also announced like all those Final Fantasy games that got announced for Switch heading over to Xbox. And of course the studio announcements, Obsidian, which got leaked, is now Microsoft owned. And then In Exile. So those are great new additions. 2 RPG-centric additions to the Microsoft family. Very interesting. Yep. To me, what I noticed was the energy of the crowd was pretty high throughout. Now, I don't know if that was like, all right, cheer now. I'm sure that's what it was, but even so, even if that was what it was, they still did a good job of keeping that energy up and making the event feel exciting. You could feel the energy dip like maybe an hour into it, hour 20 into it. Energy definitely started to dip, but overall, passionate fans, which makes me wonder, could Microsoft kind of maybe switch gears in the future for things like E3? Instead of doing the big press event, go and do an event like this where it just looked better on camera. The other thing that I noticed was, especially in the video that they ran promoting the Minecraft Cats and Pandas expansion pack, as well as Major Nelson's Black Friday sale video, which was hilarious. Microsoft had something that they really haven't had in a long time, and a lot of companies really haven't had in a long time in these press presentations, and that's a sense of fun, a sense of play. They really looked like they were just like, whatever, we're going to try this. Okay, Cats and Pandas, this is weird. This is a weird little story narration to tell for this thing. It's bizarre, doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. Oh, Major Nelson's just going to cheese throughout this Black Friday thing. Okay, that's cool. They weren't taking themselves too seriously, and that's exactly what they needed. When a company gets to that point where they're like, you know what, let's just go out and have fun with it, that's when the innovation comes, and that is very, very exciting. So as much as I'd like to see bombshells, or would have liked to have seen bombshells at X018, I still say this was a good show. I'd give it a solid B+, actually.
Well, and you mentioned the humor. I think Sony has taken itself too seriously for a long time.
Yes.
I think, and even Nintendo to a point. Nintendo has these directs, and it's all guys in suits. I love Reggie. Don't get the twist. I love Reggie. But it's a bunch of guys in suits, and the wackiest thing is, oh, now I'm wearing a Mario hat. It's like, that's...
Right.
You're still a company. You're still a business. Microsoft doesn't have that sense of play. They're catering to the audience. They're saying, "Hey, we're all just let's just hang out and have fun." Like, they're more relaxed. I think that's the sense I get from them. Is they're just relaxed. They kind of know that we're set up for the future. We're kind of just biding our time until the next generation, and we'll just start kicking into high gear. But they're getting the ball rolling and kind of taking a new approach on it because they're forging their own identity, which is what they need right now.
I'm gonna say it. I think Microsoft's gonna beat Sony in the next gen.
I'm with you.
I think they are.
I would third that.
If the attitude that they had in this translates over to the products that they're going to produce for next gen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's quickly run through what I got here. So the PUBG on Xbox Game Pass, Crackdown 3 got a release date of February 15th. Will be a part of Game Pass if you have that. They show off the Wrecking Zone multiplayer mode. This looks awesome. I cannot wait for that. Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer marks the return of Winnie the Pooh and Organization 13. Yes, the FF13 trilogy on the Xbox One backwards compatibility. So that's FF13, FF13-2, and Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13.
Maybe I'll finally play that game.
Maybe so. Yep, Sea of Thieves, the Battle Royale. It's not the actual name. I think it's funny. Xbox One getting mouse and keyboard support next week, starting with Fortnite and Warframe. So mouse and keyboard support coming to Xbox. And yes, Obsidian and In Exile joining Microsoft Studios. We had Just Cause 4 trailer, which that game's still happening.
Okay, that game looked really good, actually, in the trailer and the gameplay that they showed. It does look good.
Because I went back and watched the replay of the stream with you, Dave, and that game felt like it fit the mood. Like it's just fun, and just we're gonna go out here and just have a good time. And then I think Dave hit the nail on the head here. It just felt, the entire event just felt fun. It just felt like everybody else takes it so seriously. We're just gonna go out here. What do we have to lose at this point? And they just went for it. Yes,
the Just Cause games are just mindless, dumb fun, and they're good games. So Just Cause 4 would be something to look into. They always release in December, though, which is always a bad sign.
Yeah.
Just as far as they're better than what that is getting credit for. DMC5 getting a practice mode called The Void. That was announced as well.
Oh, yep. And then they kept Jeff Keighley tweeted about somebody, you heard it here about that game having some sort of announcement at the Game Awards as well. So kind of coinciding with X018. I don't know what that would be. I mean, they didn't hint at anything that I heard of, but
we already have a release date. We've got all this other stuff. So the other thing I can think of is like a character, Dante or something like that.
Yeah. The Black Friday deals will have the console at its lowest price point ever.
Yep. We already knew what the Black Friday deals were.
The Xbox One X offered for $400, normally from $500 to $400, so $100 off that. A bunch of games are 50% off, 35% off, so lots of stuff going on in the discount realm there. But yeah, I'm with you. Overall, good show.
Did you say that Game Pass is only $1?
Oh yeah, for new subscribers, for 6 months.
For the first month, it's like $1.
For the first month, if you sign up now, between now and I think the end of the year.
Okay.
Or maybe it's now and the end of January. It's $1 the first month.
The other thing that I noticed, and that some people were kind of trying to criticize them for, was that it was a big ad for Game Pass. I think
the whole show was a big ad?
The whole show. I agree to some extent. They were really pushing Game Pass really hard. Mm-hmm. But to that, that being said, Game Pass is their future. And Game Pass and xCloud are going to tie into each other synergistically. You got to remember, I think Microsoft is preparing to push the idea of Xbox away from just being something that sits underneath your TV to being a service that goes with you wherever. So pushing Game Pass is a big thing, and especially Game Pass on PC.
As it should be, because Game Pass is the best deal in gaming.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think there's still a 3-month trial out there for $10, and I'm really tempted to sign on for that.
I mean, you get all of Microsoft's first-party games as part of the package. So when Crackdown 3 comes out, you spend nothing more to get Crackdown 3.
The only problem for me right now is that you still got to pay money for online Xbox Live Gold.
Right.
So once they're like, okay, we're going to drop the subscription requirement for, online play and roll that into Game Pass, then I'll be like, all right, take my money.
I have to wonder if that's going to end up becoming something that's sandwiched in with a subscription.
I think that's an E3 announcement.
Yeah.
And something probably for the streaming box or perhaps the next-gen box.
Right.
And, I hope they do it sooner rather than later. I'm really sick of paying to play online.
Well, you'll have to pay more when Smash comes out.
I know. Yeah. I still haven't gotten my Nintendo Online subscription yet.
Me
either. It's still $7 or 7 days free. But so if you really don't want it, you don't like it.
Does I'm assuming the upcoming Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu requires online to do the online battles?
Oh, I'm sure.
I would imagine so.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. Okay. So that's X018. Not the earth-shattering thing that we had been praying for, but still good show nonetheless.
Better than nothing, and we got some cool things happening, and it's less about the announcement and more about how Microsoft is carrying themselves going into next year.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of made me hope that this is what Inside Xbox episodes are like, or kind of like in the future.
Sure,
because this was just an overly produced Xbox. Or Inside Xbox episode, but it was better because the other ones were just kind of lame. I know, we had talked about it before on old episodes. So,
you know what? Major Nelson never put on the white gloves.
He didn't.
I feel like we've been cheated.
Oh no!
Game Awards.
Maybe
another trailer dropped recently, and I can segue. I mentioned Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. A trailer dropped recently that's worth discussing. Detective Pikachu, the movie. Trailer dropped. We get our live-action Pokemon-style movie featuring the voice of Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. Guys, I saw this trailer. I'm kind of into this.
I don't know. I thought it looked like an abomination to me, but that's just me.
Whenever I hear Ryan Reynolds, I hear Deadpool. That's just in my mind now. I hear
exactly.
Deadpool. So I'm thinking Peekapool, but
he even posted Peekapool.
I like these live action takes on Pokemon. I think there's something to be said here about the designs of this in a real world scenario. This is kind of cool.
I don't know. The ultimate Pokemon fan is Lauren, and Lauren says no. So
it seems like it's getting majority love. I mean, I'm seeing both, but I'm seeing more positive than negative, at least right now. But it is a different take on it because you're used to Pikachu just being a yellow, sleek looking thing, not a.
I'm used to him being cute, not smarmy.
Well, yeah, or fuzz.
I will
furry.
Electrocute you.
Right.
That was funny. Like we've seen the animated movies. It is an animated show. Like we're used to seeing it in cartoon form. So to see it in live action, this has more of my attention than an animated movie would.
I would agree. I mean, I think that with this that you're getting something different. You're getting a lot of different looks at what Pokemon will look like. You're not just getting the original 151. There was a couple others hinted or shown that are not just there from the very beginning.
And it seems like it's not just for kids. Like this seems like it's catered to kind of a older kid, maybe a younger adult style. It won't have R-rated jokes, but it will. I think it's catering not just to kids.
What do kids know? Kids these days. Chocolate doesn't taste right anymore.
Why?
Just kidding. It's old,
I'm so
old
lost.
Man rants. Old man rants.
Well, should we go to the somber news that kind of shook?
Well, no. Let's talk about the other big news that happened this week. PlayStation 5 leaks.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
something really big here.
Yes.
So over the weekend, a bunch of material possibly linked regarding the upcoming PlayStation 5, which we've pegged at 2019. So somebody put out a supposed slideshow presentation outlining the PlayStation 5 future release plans. Let me try and get this pulled into the stream. There it is. All right. So you can see that here. All right, so we got a bunch of different slides here for supposedly a PlayStation 5. Supposedly what the console looks like, or at least a rendering of the console. They're saying that it's scheduled for November 16th of 2019 with a reveal coming February 21st of 2019.
Well, that's sooner than I expected then.
Yeah.
For the reveal.
They're talking about... let's see, some of the key points. Custom 7nm AMD APU based on Zen 2. That kind of checks out to what we had been thinking here. It's definitely an AMD produced graphics card.
Right.
11.2 teraflops.
Teraflops! Bring me the teraflops.
Yeah. How does that compare? What do the Xbox One X have?
6 teraflops. With the
6 teraflops. That don't cut it anymore. That doesn't cut it anymore. 11.2 teraflops. This is the Ron Jeremy of teraflops.
And I'm seeing PSVR 2 headsets.
Yes, PSVR 2 headsets will be part of this thing.
So PS5 with PSVR 2.
Right. So there will be bundles with PSVR 2.
Yeah.
2 terabyte hard drive is going to be the standard. They're saying a 1 terabyte model will be released in fiscal year 2020. So maybe a PS5 Slim is what we're thinking of.
Okay.
Or maybe that is, I don't know if that would be the streaming only model. I don't know.
You think? I mean, you got to imagine they'd do a streaming model as well.
Yeah,
a streaming only model.
Also included would be a single DualShock 5 controller, and we'll get more to that in just a moment here.
Fully compatible with all. This is what's okay. This is all rumors. Nothing is confirmed. This says fully compatible with all PS4 titles, disc-based and digital.
So there was a rumor going around. There was a patent that was filed a while back where Sony was talking about how each game that was developed, like the graphical assets, had their own unique identifier, and they could upscale those assets by finding those identifiers and swapping them out with something that's upgraded. So I don't know if that's just going to be for PlayStation 4 backwards compatibility and upscaling them for PlayStation 5, or if that's going to be something. The rumor that I heard was that it was going to be backwards compatible with every single PlayStation of all time.
Trying to show off on the stream.
What was that?
Trying to show off on the stream. Trying to see where my head is on the stream. And Vanna Whiting this.
So that's the rumor going around based off of that. But yeah, they're developing a second generation of PlayStation VR headset. First generation VR headsets will work with the PlayStation 5.
Speaking of which, I really want to play Tetris Effect.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. Especially in VR. So hopefully that comes to Steam, but probably not.
PlayStation VR wireless peripheral uses the latest developments in wireless tech for high bandwidth streaming of audio and video streams to the VR headset using 60 gigahertz band, also known as WiGig. Although that branding may be changed. This tech has a limited range of 6 to 8 meters at the bandwidth required, but it works well for applications such as small room scale VR. The peripheral will likely use a USB connector to power the transmitter unit, but if the power output can be kept low enough, it could possibly be powered over HDMI, and that is not included in the specs. The receiver unit will likely use Li-ion rechargeable batteries to power the headset and the receiver unit. This should be sufficient to power the headset for up to 6 hours of continuous use, well beyond what is recommended continuous use of the VR headset, yada yada. So it's got a sexy little receiver box and everything. They are going to release, let's see, PlayStation 4 Pro, a new slim version of the PlayStation 4 Pro will be made available on Q1 2020 to complement the launch of the PlayStation 5, while the PlayStation 4 Slim will be discontinued. PlayStation 5 new hardware release in Q4 2019, timed to coincide with both the 25-year anniversary of the release of the original PlayStation hardware and the holiday season. Initial shipments may be sparse until supply chain catches up. Staggered release. They're going to have staggered release in the weeks following, so Japan, US, EU, and Australia. Let's see. PlayStation 5 hardware launches as both a console-only SKU and a console plus PSVR 2 bundle SKU, all with 2 terabytes of hard drive space, which is a godsend because I'm already out of hard drive space and I have a 2 terabyte drive.
If you bought Red Dead Redemption 2, you have no more.
If you bought Red Dead Redemption 2, you're screwed.
That's the only game.
There will be a limited edition SKU, which launches a few weeks later, and an additional 1 terabyte SKU available in Q2 2020, although I don't know why you would want a 1 terabyte SKU. I'm guessing the limited edition SKU would be like a PlayStation 25-year anniversary edition.
Sure. Which
would be awesome.
Yeah.
So that's all pretty darn interesting. And then it goes on to say that there is going to be a supposed PlayStation VR 2 Pro releasing in late 2021 with enhanced resolution and built-in wireless capabilities in the headset. So all interesting stuff. And then over the weekend, this was released. Sony had filed a patent for a touchscreen equipped PlayStation controller, so replacing the touchpad with an actual touch screen, which is kind of interesting. And
does that jack the price up, you think? They're already expensive as it is.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I think a touch screen in there would probably jack up the price.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because they're, what, like $70 now for a controller?
$70 for a controller.
60 for a DualShock.
Black Friday, though, they'll be $40.
Right.
Sure.
Right. So 60 for an Xbox or PS4 controller, and then obviously the Nintendo one is the little one. It's a little more.
Now, obviously, they had a picture on there of the Dreamcast and the VMU. It's kind of like the next progression from that is not only do you get a screen that will show you information, but one you actually do something with, kind of like a second screen experience, perhaps, right there on your controller.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Who knows? Maybe I heard that they were continuing like Nintendo's idea of what the Wii U was actually supposed to be originally,
Sure.
like Project Cafe is what they called it.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, how big is this touchscreen going to be?
Right.
Would the controller be would it be able to be played independent of the system, unlike the Wii U gamepad?
I would think that the space of the touchpad would kind of be your ideal scenario for a touch screen. Because you don't want to get too much bigger. Every controller in Sony's lifespan has been very similar. You don't want to go way off base now.
Uh-huh.
Well, and even if you do, like you said, how big is the screen going to be? Because the DualShock 4, well, the one we have now, is wider than any other controller for Sony has been, and that touchpad in the center isn't very big, so you got to imagine it's going to be bigger than that.
Yeah.
So how big are we talking? Are we talking like a Vita?
I don't know. That would be sweet, though.
Ooh, yeah.
What if you just had a Vita-sized thing? Because the Vita is not that big.
Huh.
And just put, regular-sized buttons and everything next to it.
You could, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe you've got something where the PlayStation 5 would be able to broadcast games over 5G or something like that. Or maybe if you are a member of PlayStation Network, if you own a game, you can stream it if you're away from the system. I don't know.
Are they making a controller that's basically a Switch at some point?
That's kind of what I'm wondering.
Huh.
Well, again, these are all just rumors that you pulled off of NeoGAF and a couple of different other sites.
Right.
But they did file a patent for a touchscreen. That much is true.
The slideshow's a little bit definitely iffy, but I believe the Q4 2019 release date.
Yep.
I believe that absolutely. Unless there's like a component shortage and they have to delay because of that.
The February date that's sooner than I would have thought, I guess, but it makes sense. Get it out there now and then talk about it at E3.
That's the same time frame that PlayStation 4 was officially revealed, was in February of 2013. So
you're right.
It definitely makes sense. Plus, you're coming up at the end of their fiscal year for 2018. So you put that news out there, and that's like a nice little jolt in the arm for the shareholders right before your fiscal year ends. That's why I say Switch S is going to be announced in that same time frame as well. Yeah.
We might be getting a dang good E3 next year.
It's about time. Good. I told you they were all holding back this year.
Yeah.
Plus, who knows what's going to happen with Apple? That was a huge announcement over Halloween with iPad, their next generation iPad now having graphic capabilities on par with an Xbox One S. That's huge, dude.
That's insane.
Yes. Well, and
also,
then
it could be the same price point.
Yeah. They're scared of that.
Having Xbox's service, you said xCloud or whatever it was called, is going to be able to, or Xstream or whatever you said it was called, xCloud, is going to be able to be streamed to phones and iPads and stuff. So it all is going hand in hand.
Yeah,
we're seeing that trending in that right direction.
Next year, be the E3 of dreams.
Next year is going to be an assault on Walletsville. Between all this crap coming out and a wedding I gotta pay for,
boy, that was your own doing. So
yeah, that's my own fault. Damn it, love.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's what I had for PlayStation rumors. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think these? What do you think? Are we real? Are we fake? It's fake news.
With any news, there's always a kernel of truth. So I I think we're in the ballpark. I think the actual numbers will differ, but I think we're in the ballpark here. That will not be the design of it. I think that looked too much like an Xbox One to me. So I think they'll go a different actual body design than that.
Yeah. I hope that's not the design, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think the time frames are real. I think the specs are probably pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely in the ballpark.
I mean, I think it's, like Jeff said, I think it's a little bit of truth and a little bit of false. I mean, I think the dates sound more real than what I was expecting, but those sound pretty realistic. But then thinking about like the specs and everything, I don't think it's going to be what it is final, but I think there's some definite reality. Like I'm having a tough time picturing like a Vita as my controller, but maybe that'll be an option. I don't know.
What are you going to do with all those teraflops in your face?
It's an overload of teraflops.
It's a lot of teraflops.
You got to take those teraflops.
There's our new ska band name, Overloading Teraflops. There's a new ska band name.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's enough of PlayStation 5.
All right.
I'm telling you, it's happening in 2019. People want to scoff and say, I saw a lot of naysayers on both this, and there's a NeoGAF thread as well. And there are a lot of naysayers saying, oh, it's fake. First things first, when everybody says it's fake on NeoGAF, it's real as hell. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people were saying, no, that's too soon of a time frame. It's not. You guys read my article?
Yeah.
You read my article from last month on how I determined that PlayStation 5 is launching in 2019. You'd understand. I'm just saying.
You just pay attention to read.
Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Me. No, seriously though, it's the signs indicate it's coming in 2019. We've already seen PlayStation 5 games demoed. Yes. Last of Us Part 2, that's a PlayStation 5 game. Yeah, and the demo itself was not running on a PlayStation 4.
No.
We have known about demo kits being out in the wild for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's real.
Oh.
It's happening.
Hey, isn't there an Anthem stream coming up in the next couple of weeks?
I think you're right. I think I heard something about that.
I think so.
I'll get that as part of my EA Access Origins Premier account.
There you go. All right, moving on.
Gentlemen, we lost someone who defined a medium. He made us all who we are. He made the world believe in superheroes. Stan Lee passed away Monday morning at the age of 95 years old. I don't even know where to even begin with the impact he had on me personally. So if somebody wants to take a quick eulogy before I talk a lot about him. Justin, do you have a eulogy about Stan Lee you'd like to say?
I mean, I don't even know if putting me on the spot, I don't even know if I can really begin to describe the impact he's had on me personally, let alone the three of us or the millions he's reached. But the one thing I will say is that he did something that a lot of people who have dreams and fantasies that don't get the chance to do, and he made he was able to get his vision seen by the world. So he created characters that have transcended time. I mean, shoot, we're talking about some game of the year, and Spider-Man's right up there. Spider-Man's loved by people of all ages. I know young kids. I know adults. There's a reason that people flock to these characters, these superheroes and these villains, because they ignite a spark that's inside that we don't get to maybe show on a day-to-day basis. They get to show a side of us. Whether you agree with, like I said, a hero or a villain, there's always a character that you can look at and say, that's who I relate to. That's the character that's my favorite, or however you want to look at it, and not to mention, how now his creations are among mainstream media, games and movies. Comic books are more mainstream than they've ever been. So, I can't even honestly begin to say how thankful I am for the creations he's had. But, Stan Lee definitely had a giant impact and will continue to. I don't think it's anywhere close to stopping. So
absolutely. I mean, he's a man whose creations and visions, like you said, transcend time. They will live forever. It's so interesting to look back and see how, he had his initial wave of popularity through the comic books, and then after Spider-Man came out, the wave of popularity through the budding Marvel Cinematic Universe, and all those creations that got to be put on the big screen. And this might sound kind of corny, but Spider-Man kind of came out at this perfect time because the nation was still reeling from the September 11 attacks. When did this movie come out? Like early 2002, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe you're right.
Okay, so the nation was still reeling from the tragedy of September 11th, and Spider-Man got to be reintroduced to a nation, and I would say help the nation heal a little bit. That sounds really cornball to say, but it made that movie came out at this perfect time, which helped people believe once again in the power of good over evil at a time where we really needed that as a country. And that helped, I think, spark his kind of resurgence, his second life, so to speak, through the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the last few years of his life. So just a fantastic, from every account that I've ever heard, he was just a fantastic stand-up gentleman. And it's a shame that he passed away. I'm thankful that he got to live a rich, full life. Yep. But we at least get to treasure his creations from now through eternity. And that's
right.
Not a lot of people get to say that, their creations live on or will live forever. But Stan Lee is one person. He will always be immortal. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's the impact on his creations. Like, it started as me as a 4-year-old boy being Wolverine for Halloween. Like, it was those stories just grabbed me right away and just would not let go. All the characters from Spider-Man, Daredevil, Hulk, X-Men, all of them, like, they could tell stories that you only dream of, and it made you believe and made you think you were somebody special for being a part of this. And his it's sad, but gosh, what a life he had. What a life he had, and a genius. And it sucks that he's gone, but he will continue to live on through all of our hearts, our minds, the pages, the big screen. We love him. We will miss him. Excelsior to Stan Lee.
Yeah, we'll definitely miss the cameos in all the movies.
Yeah.
Who didn't look forward to that? Come on.
Got one more coming up.
We got one more
in Next Avengers, because that one's in the can, ready to go. So he'll shoot his cameo there. He might even have already done his Captain Marvel stuff, but
oh yeah, I'm sure
we may see 2 more cameos then before he
right
is gone. But boy, it's just that hit me hard. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of hit me hard.
I don't think it hit us as hard as it might have you, because I personally was not a big comic book guy growing up, but it's always sad to see such a spark of brilliance, get snuffed out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's sad how Avengers 3 happened, and like half the I'm not spoiling this, but half of them did their thing, and then now Stan Lee.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Yeah, there's been those images that people are already posting, like, of him with Thanos. Yeah. Not to spoil it, but and Dave mentioned a good something that I think is a good note to kind of wrap into everything is that he, in his own way, was at not only back in 2001, when when September 11th happened, and you had Spider-Man 2002, I believe it was, and Spider-Man obviously takes place in Manhattan, or is supposed to take place in a version of that, and even nowadays, just people can come around these characters, can come together, over these things. It's a weird bond, but it's a very cool bond. For example, like my wife, she didn't grow up as a comic book fan. I did, she didn't, but we both have bonded over these movies. We've seen each one together. It's become a thing. It's a really cool thing that he accomplished, and I know he did more work than just with Marvel. So I want to just say that all the work that he did is fantastic, and I can't even begin to say that I've seen half of the stuff he's done. So I just appreciate the stuff I have gotten to see and how it's impacted our lives. So.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk more about Marvel and Stan Lee next week when we have Brad on, because he wanted to share his thoughts on Marvel games and stuff too, because those characters and stories translated very well to the world of video games. So it wasn't just comic books and movies. Video games had a huge impact with superheroes. So we'll cover that stuff next week.
I can't think of a better way to honor him than if we can finally get some X-Men characters in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
The Uncanny Edition. No, just make a new X-Men Children of the Atom. We'll go from there. Rapid fire time, fellas. Let's get to some potpourri stuff, if you will. I saw here Sunset Overdrive got listed for PC by the ESRB.
That's happening.
So that could be coming to the PC finally. If people have not played that yet, it's a dang good game.
Please play it.
I have it installed, but I've never played it.
It's a dang good game. What are you guys playing right now?
For me, I'd say I've been playing 3 games. Well, 2, and I just started playing 1. And I hadn't really been playing games for about 2 weeks. I got in a 2-week stretch where I was super busy. But I just started and just dipped into Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Mm-hmm. Holy crap, it's so good, and those cutscenes are insanely realistic.
Yep.
Why hasn't anybody mentioned that before? I was blown away.
I think I said that last time. You weren't here.
It's how crazy those cutscenes are.
We sent you a video.
You get to choose the gore, like if you want the content on or off or whatever, but it's insane. And then Spider-Man on PS4.
Oh yeah, you
played a ton of Spider-Man. I did. I was not only able to finish it, I was able to do 100% the game, and I went through and just powered through it the last couple days. One of the benefits of having a 3-day weekend, so I was able to power through a little bit this weekend and get it finished. And that's no easy feat. Like Dave was saying before the stream, there's a ton of collectibles in that game, a ton of things you can do. And then I just picked up Spyro the Dragon today, and just barely dipped into that before the stream. So
Black Ops 4, they're bringing Nuketown back to that today on PS4, next week on Xbox One and PC.
Speaking of Spyro, there is, for Black Friday, there is a sexy bundle that is Spyro and Crash. Both of those remastered trilogy sets are together for like $60.
That's a dang good deal.
Yeah,
that's a dang good deal. That's sexy.
That's 6 games for $60.
Yeah.
Also mentioning, hey, by the way, PUBG coming to PS4. I don't know if we had said that yet, but it's going to PS4 December 7th?
December 7th, I believe.
So the Xbox exclusivity is now over.
Yep.
And you get the Uncharted thing too. Battlefield 1 had a cool little recently, the 11th, so Sunday, was the 100-year anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. So in the actual game, they stopped shooting to commemorate that.
Oh, wow. That's kind of
cool. That was really cool. Yeah, there's a moment on Twitter. People want to see the moment on the 11th hour we stopped fighting, and it's the 100 years of the armistice of World War I. So the players in the game stopped shooting to commemorate that, which is kind of cool.
Huh.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Speaking of Battlefield, I've been playing some Battlefield 5 because that's out now for EA Access Origins Premier accounts.
I still can't get over the name.
I like it. It comes out the 20th for everybody, but I like it, and part of me likes it because I didn't pay $60 for it. It's because I don't think that the full game's not really there yet, because there's that Tides of War big grand operation style that's not out to December 6th. And then
the
next
Battle
year
Royale stuff's on,
is the
right?
Battle Royale stuff. Okay. So I feel like it's not a $60 game just yet, but the groundwork is there for another great Battlefield game, because the moments are fantastic, and it's a great looking game, by the way. It's a beautiful looking game, and I've had so many moments of, oh god, that just happened. You know, those Battlefield moments, they're still there, and I really have enjoyed my time with it. But again, part of it is because I didn't spend the whole $80 to get the special edition of it. It just came with my account. So
if you paid $80 though, let's pretend you did. How would you rate it?
I would say it's a good game, but it's not a complete game.
Okay. All right.
Would having one of those modes make it complete?
The Tides of War thing, I think, would, because it was in the beta.
Would so having it be realistic be complete?
All right. But I do like how they're treating the in-game goodies this time around. There's no microtransactions, no loot boxes.
Right.
You can
they were really big on that.
Right. So you spend your in-game, I think it's called company coins, you earn through like daily missions, and just by playing the game, you get company coins that you spend on cosmetics, different camo pieces, different guns, different attachments. So I like how they treated that this time around. It's really nice. You know what you're getting before you get it. It makes total sense. And with the souped up version, you just keep getting more camouflage stuff for your weapons. You just get a bunch of stuff by getting the bigger version. So as a Premier account member, it's worth it. If it's $80 day one, I don't think it's worth it that much right now.
I don't know. I wonder how it's gonna sell.
Yeah, we'll see when the 20th comes around for the casual folk, if they want to jump into that after people who have, I'm assuming, have been playing Black Ops 4. But there is space in this world for both of those games. I think it's
yes.
The different takes on the same genre. There's plenty of space for that. Elsewhere in the first-person shooter genre, just before we started this podcast, over at twitch.tv/Jefferoth, I, the Jefferoth, played some matches as Ash, the newly released character for Overwatch, which is now currently in the public for PC, Xbox, and PS4. She's available now, except not in competitive. That's probably by a week or two before she gets competitive. Ash is a lot of fun. Not only can do quick fire hip, you can do some quick hip firing, aim down sights to get some like sniper-esque precision shots. Ooh. You have some dynamite you can throw, which will set the ground on fire and will cause damage over time. Of course, it will cause the initial explosion, but it'll also linger with some fire. There is the left shift pop back, so I can just jump back with my shotgun spread, basically knock you back as I go flying backwards. That can give me space, or rocket jump. You point that straight down, you just go flying. It's fantastic when you. And the ultimate is where Bob comes in, the big ass robot who comes in. He will do football tackle, knock him up in the air, and then become a sentry turret. He'll just stand in place and just start popping shots off. And it can be very effective when used properly. So. And the reception to Ash has been quite positive. People saying it's the best character since Orisa. I still love my girl Brigitte, but Ash is a lot of fun. I'll be playing more of her in the future.
That's awesome. I need to play some Overwatch. I have not done that in many moons.
If you want to see my, I'll upload the pre-show to our YouTube first few matches as Ash.
Is that just your internet being weird, or?
Probably. You guys are coming in fine.
Huh. Interesting. All right. 2-minute warning, guys.
My internet's been weird. All right. I've been playing a lot of Gwent.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm in a card game phase. I'm in a card game phase. I'm playing on Hearthstone, Match of the Gathering Arena. Gwent and Elder Scrolls Legends. But
well, it's winter
anyway. Yeah, that time. Fallout 76 is tomorrow.
Yep.
None of us are getting, I don't think, just yet.
Is it going to be called Fallout 76?
Now it will be. Hitman 2 is out as well. I believe on Steam, the first level of Hitman 2 is free. So if you can get that and play the first level of Hitman 2 for free on Steam.
Nice.
Very cool.
I may have to actually check that out.
It's a demo, basically. It's basically a demo.
Right.
Hitman and Hitman 2 is probably be even better, as good as that. And Friday is Pokemon.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's Pokemon time already.
Yeah.
That's another game that I'm just not excited for.
I'm excited for Artifact, the Valve card game, because I'm in a card game mood. It seems different than all of them, so I'll be checking out Artifact for $15 when that comes out end of this month. And then Smash, right on the corner, guys.
Yep.
That's
I'll
true.
I'll be dipping into that right after the Game Awards goes off the air.
Yep, oof. And that's our for me. That's the end of the year for me as far as buying games.
I would hope so. It's not a lot of year left.
Well, because I want to at some point get Just Cause 4, but probably not this year.
Yeah. Wait till that drops.
I want to pick up Odyssey for Black Friday. I want to pick up. I'll probably get Fallout for Black Friday.
Let's see my Black Friday list real quick. I'm thinking about Forza Horizon 4 because it's only $30 at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11. I might pick up Odyssey. Walmart has Xenoblade Chronicles X2 on sale for $35. I kind of want that. And PS Plus 12-month subscriptions are $40 at Best Buy. And then Detroit is $20 at both Best Buy and GameStop. So
okay, if you pick up Detroit, you'll have to let us know what if you like that one.
Still waiting for GameStop's Black Friday ad, by the way.
I hope that Taiko Drum Master thing for PS4 goes on sale because that game has been getting good reviews.
That would be nice. I'd like Mega Man 11 to go on sale, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah. Do it. I beat it too.
X Legacy Collection will be on sale for $25, and I'm kind of thinking about that, but I don't know. We will see. All right, let's go.
I got the GameStop stuff right here, actually.
They've got a pre-Black Friday ad out.
Oh, like God of War for $30 and Overwatch for $20.
So it's like a 2-page ad of stuff that's on sale for this weekend.
Right.
So Detroit's one of the games. I might go grab that this weekend.
Yeah, let us know what you think about Detroit because I was not sold on that game at all, and it's kind of fallen off the map. I feel like
people love it or hate it.
Yeah. For $20, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. All right,
let's
Fellers,
do this.
Should we take her home?
Yes.
Let's do.
Don't forget, all the Black Friday deals will be all in one convenient location for you to check out before you go into the horde of idiots.
Try to do all your shopping online. Please don't go into the horde of idiots. Don't encourage them to open their doors during the
Cyber
day.
Monday.
Yeah. Well, Cyber Monday's deals aren't as good, though.
But you're safe. You're safe.
That is true.
They're not as good.
Anyway,
except for cyber terrorists.
True. All the Black Friday deals we'll have for you on NerdBacon.com, all in one handy location, always updated by the Watchman himself. Now, you can find myself at twitch.tv/JeffAroth and Twitter at JeffAroth for all the latest in polls and dancing GIFs and what have you. Also, I am working on a review for Soul Calibur 6 on the PC now that I finally got a online match that was not complete crap. Dave.
You can find all of my stuff at NerdBacon.com. If I stream, it'll be right here on twitch.tv/NerdBacon. Otherwise, you can follow me personally at Dave the Watchman, and you can follow us on Twitter at nerd_bacon, or follow us on Facebook as well at NerdBacon. Basically, if you search NerdBacon, you're likely going to find us. If not, it's stale.
It's not us. Justin.
Just any Instagram, Facebook, or Instagram, Twitter, under Level Up Justin, and then, like Dave said, anything NerdBacon. If you search for us, you'll find us. We're out there. It's not too hard to find, and it's not too many keystrokes to type that bad boy in anyway. So, other than that, nothing too big right now.
Very true. And of course, this podcast is available on twitch.tv/NerdBacon, mixer.com/NerdBacon, YouTube on the NerdBacon channel, Smashcast on the NerdBacon channel, and of course in audio form for Spotify, on Podbean, on Stitcher, on Anchor, wherever you take us and your podcast, we will be there for you. And we'll be back here again next week. We'll have our special guest, Brad Feingold, joining us. We'll talk the news in gaming for the next week, and of course the new auction is next week.
Yeah, with, the arcade game
that's
auction.
Right.
We're going to preview that. That is so exciting. It's one of my favorite times of the year.
And we have there will be a big name person there. In fact, Walter Day himself will be there, which is a big deal for the for Twin Galaxies folks. Anyway, thank you all for watching this week of the NerdBacon podcast. I am Jeff Aroff.
I'm Dave.
I'm Level Up Justin.
And I'm Dave the Watchman.
We'll work on that by next week. We'll be back here, same bacon time, same bacon channel. Until then, remember, as always, game tasty. And we will see you next week.